Welcome to Bible Talk Insight. This week, we're grappling with the book of Joshua, specifically chapters 10 and 11.
Yeah, and these passages, they contain some pretty, well, disturbing scenes, things often described as divine war or holy war.
Exactly. And it raises serious questions, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
About God's character, his justice, his love.
Mm-hmm.
How does it all fit together in these stories of conflict?
It really does. If you're wrestling with that, trying to understand how God's justice and love work together here, then you're in the right place.
Our focus verse this week kind of sets the stage, Joshua 10:42.
Right. It says, "And Joshua captured all these kings and their land at one time because the Lord God of Israel fought for Israel."
Fought for Israel. That phrase really shifts the perspective, doesn't it? It implies God's direct involvement.
Absolutely. It forces us to look deeper than just the surface narrative. We need to understand the nature of this fight.
Okay, so let's preview what we unpack in our main Bible Talk Insight episode, which we're calling Holy War and Holy Love, unpacking Joshua's fiercest battles.
A key point from the Bible and Bible scholars is that you really can only grasp this holy war idea if you see God as the sovereign judge of the entire universe.
So Israel wasn't just acting on its own, like for political gain or land grabbing.
No, not according to the text. Their mandate wasn't self-glory. It was framed as executing divine justice, establishing God's peace, ultimately.
It's a very different framing. But what about the people already there? The Canaanites.
Well, that's crucial context. The texts consistently point to a moral justification. Genesis 15 talks about the iniquity of the Amorites, the Canaanites reaching its fullness.
And Deuteronomy lists some really disturbing practices.
Extremely. We're talking about things like child sacrifice, divination, sorcery, consulting the dead, practices God explicitly condemned as abhorrent.
So the judgment described wasn't arbitrary or sudden. It followed centuries of, well, deep moral corruption.
That's the picture painted, yes, a long-standing pattern. But even with that justification, the language of destruction is still really hard to hear.
Right. That image of total war, it feels contradictory to the God of love many of us know. How do we reconcile that?
That's probably the toughest part. And it's why looking closely at the original language and context is so important. There's a key distinction often missed.
Okay. What's that?
God's primary stated goal, even back in Exodus, was often dispossession, ejecting the nations, pushing them out, disattaching their influence.
Wait, dispossession. Like driving them out, not necessarily killing everyone?
That seems to be the initial thrust, yes. So then the question becomes, why the harsh language about destruction?
Yeah, where does that fit?
Well, when you look closely, the strongest Hebrew terms for utter destruction, the ones that sound most severe, are most often applied to inanimate objects.
Objects, like what?
Like the articles of pagan worship. Altars, sacred pillars, idols, graven images. Deuteronomy 12 is very specific about destroying these things.
So the primary target wasn't necessarily every single person, but the system of idolatry, the wickedness itself.
That seems to be a major emphasis. Eradicating the corrupting influence, cleansing the land spiritually, it suggests the battle had a huge spiritual and ideological dimension.
That reframes things quite a bit. It connects to the idea we explore in our supplemental discussion, too, behind the battlefield, setting the stage for God's holy war.
Exactly. You need that wider context. The understanding from Bible scholars is that all history is playing out against the backdrop of a much larger, ongoing spiritual conflict.
The great controversy.
Right. And understanding that specific biblical concept about things being devoted to destruction, it's tied directly to this spiritual warfare against evil's influence. It was about removing spiritual contagion.
Which brings us to maybe the ultimate question we tackle in the bonus Bible Talk Insight. From swords to plowshares, finding the Prince of Peace in the book of Joshua.
How do you harmonize this warrior god image in Joshua fighting for Israel with Isaiah's prophecy of Jesus as the Prince of Peace?
It feels like a contradiction on the surface.
It can seem that way, but this is where connecting the Old and New Testaments is critical. Jesus, as the true king, fulfills those Old Testament promises, but in a new way.
How so?
He's installed on the heavenly throne. The nature of the kingdom battle shifts, you see. It moves from earthly, physical
In the
conflict.
spiritual realm, like when Jesus tells Peter to put away his sword in the garden.
Precisely. He demonstrates that the ultimate peace, the ultimate victory over sin and evil, isn't won through human force or conquest. It's won through his sacrifice and spiritual authority.
You know, what really stands out to me in all this is the idea that God is a righteous judge. He can't be bribed. He won't let evil and oppression just go on forever unchecked.
That's such an important point.
Understanding the judicial side of God, that he actively intervenes for justice, it's actually essential for grasping the hope of the gospel, isn't it? His love isn't passive. It's powerful, active justice working for us.
That's a powerful thought to hold on to this week as you study God fighting for you.
Absolutely. And hey, if you want daily highlights, check out our 1-2-minute reels on the Bible Talk Insight Facebook page. They cover key points from each day's study.
Great for a quick refresher.
Definitely. And then join us for the full, in-depth Bible Talk Insight episode this week to explore all this much more deeply.